I used to believe blood was stronger than truth. That family was the one place where loyalty never had to be questioned. I was a husband, a father, and a son, and I wore all three roles like armor. Every morning I woke before dawn, checked on my boys, and told myself I was building something solid for them. "Daddy, are you home tonight?" Liam asked one morning. "I never miss dinner," I said, smiling. Emma stood in the kitchen, her phone face down. She nodded but didn't look at me. "You okay?" I asked. "Just tired," she said. "You worry too much." I wanted to believe her. I always did. At my father's house, the clan gathered every weekend. My father, Charles, sat at the head of the table like a king. "Family comes first," he said often. Always. Ryan sat beside him, relaxed, confident, laughing easily. Everyone listened when he spoke. "You should let Ryan handle the new accounts," my father said one night. "He's got the instinct." Ryan smiled. "Only if my big brother agrees." I forced a laugh. "Of course." Emma watched him longer than necessary. Later that night, Noah tugged my sleeve. "Mommy's phone keeps buzzing." "She's busy," I said quickly. I started noticing things I couldn't explain. Emma stepping outside to take calls. Ryan lowering his voice when I entered a room. Conversation stopping mid-sentence. "You're imagining it," Emma said when I asked. "Why are you acting paranoid?" "I'm not," I said. "I just feel off." She sighed. "You always overthink." At dinner, Ryan leaned close to Emma to show her something on his phone. She smiled in a way I hadn't seen in months. "Ryan's been helping me a lot," she said. "He understands pressure." "So do I," said. She didn't respond. My father pulled me aside later. "You need to toughen up," he said. "Ryan has leadership. You hesitate." "I'm careful," I said. "Careful men get replaced," he replied. On the drive home, Emma stared out the window. "Do you still trust me?" I asked. She said, "Why are you asking that now?" "Because I need to hear it." She didn't answer. That silence was louder than any confession. That night, Liam asked, "Why does Uncle Ryan come so much now?" "He's family," I said. "Mom smiles more with him," Noah added softly. I had no answer. Emma whispered, "You're being dramatic," when I asked her again. "Just tell me the truth," I said. "There is nothing to tell," she replied. "Promise me," I said quietly. She paused. "I don't have to promise anything." I watched her turn away, and for the first time, I felt alone inside my own home. I told myself strong men ignore doubts and protect peace at any cost. Even when their instincts scream warnings they refuse to hear, I convinced myself silence meant safety and questions only caused damage. I believed loyalty meant endurance, not confrontation, and pain was the price of belonging. I kept choosing comfort over truth, love over clarity, and hope over reality. I was wrong but did not know. I lay awake between my sons, listening to Emma breathe on the other side of the bed. "This family would never hurt us," I whispered to myself. I didn't know I was lying. I walked into my father's house believing we would talk things through. The lights were bright, the table full, and every face familiar. Emma stood beside Ryan. My chest tightened. "Why are we all here?" I asked. My father cleared his throat. "Sit." "I'd rather stand," I said. Emma spoke first. "I'm leaving you." The room went quiet. "For tonight?" I asked. "We can fix this." "No," she said. "I'm leaving for good." Ryan looked at the floor. "You're joking," I said. "Tell me this is a joke." Emma lifted her chin. "I've chosen Ryan." I laughed once. "My brother?" "He understands strength," she said. "He can give the boys a stronger future." I turned to my father. "Say something." Charles folded his hands. "Your marriage has failed." "Failed?" I said. "We have children." "You're unstable," he replied. "Always doubting. Always hesitating." "I'm their father," I said. Emma shook her head. "You make everything heavy." Ryan finally spoke. "I didn't plan this." "Look at me," I said. He did and single quotes T. My father stood. "The decision is made." "You don't decide my family," I said. "We decide what's best," Charles said. "For the clan," Liam ran to me. "Daddy?" I knelt. "I'm here." Emma pulled him back. "Come with me." "No," I said. "He stays." Charles raised his voice. "Enough." Noah started crying. "Please." I reached out. "Boys, it's okay." Emma's eyes were cold. "They're coming with me." I said, "You can't." She replied, "Watch me." Ryan stepped between us. "Don't do this here." "You already did," I said. My father nodded to the driver. Take them, I shouted. This is wrong. Calm down, Charles said. You're proving my point. Let me speak, I said. Just 1 minute. No, he said. You're done, Liam screamed my name. Emma didn't look back. I stood there, hands shaking. I will fix this. Charles said, you should leave. I looked at Ryan. Brother? He whispered, I'm sorry. Sorry isn't blood, I said. The door closed. Silence crushed me. I realized something had died that night, and it wasn't just my marriage. It was my place, my name, and my right to stand as a father. I walked out knowing there was no road back, only a line crossed that could never be erased. I stumbled into the night. My phone rang. It was my mother. Come home, she said. There's no home, I replied. You embarrassed your father, she whispered. They took my children, I said. She paused. You need help. I need my sons. Ryan called. Please don't make this worse. You already did, I said. Give it time, he said. Time doesn't raise boys, I replied. Emma texted. Be civil, I typed. Bring them back. No reply, I whispered. I won't forget. A neighbor asked, You okay? I said, No. I sat on the curb. I am their father. The words felt small. A car passed. Life moved. I stood. This isn't over. I wiped my face. Not even close. The night answered nothing. I walked until my legs burned. I promised myself, I will remember every face. I said, every word. I said, every lie. I went quiet. I went cold. I went home alone. The split was complete, and the man who walked away was not the one who had arrived. I breathed. This ends with me. I stood taller. I chose silence, patience, and truth. I didn't know how, only that it had to happen. I walked forward, broken, awake. I went to the office the next morning like nothing had changed. The guard stopped me. Sir, you can't go in. I work here, I said. He avoided my eyes. Orders. I called my father. No answer. I called Ryan, straight to voicemail. My phone buzzed. A message from the company lawyer. Your access has been revoked, effective immediately. I laughed once. Efficient. At home, the locks were changed. This is my house, I told the caretaker. He looked nervous. Mrs. Emma said you moved out. I didn't, I said. He lowered his head. I'm sorry. My mother stood inside the gate. Margaret's hands trembled. Mom, I said. Say something. She whispered, your father decided. Did you agree? I asked. Her eyes filled. I didn't stop him. That's the same, I said. She reached for me. I stepped back. I lost my children, I said, and you stayed quiet. I was afraid, she said. I was your son, I replied. She cried. I walked away. At the market, people stared. Conversation stopped. A neighbor said, We were told to keep distance. Told by who? I asked. He shrugged. The family. I packed my clothes into 2 bags and drove until the city thinned. The apartment smelled like dust and cheap soap. I dropped the bags and sat on the floor. This is temporary, I told myself. The walls didn't answer. I replayed Emma's words. Stronger future, I replayed my father's voice. Unstable, I replayed Ryan's silence. I whispered, where did I fail? No reply. I tried calling my children. The number didn't connect. I went to a lawyer. You can't see them, he said. There's an emergency order. Emergency? I said, from what? From you, he replied gently. I laughed again. They planned this. He nodded. It looks coordinated. I walked out shaking. That night, my phone rang. Clara. I shouldn't call, she said quickly. Then why did you? I asked. She hesitated. Because this isn't right. Do you know something? I asked. She lowered her voice. Be careful. About what? I said. She said, everything. The line went dead. I punched the wall. My knuckles split. I slid down and pressed my forehead to the floor. I love them, I said. The room stayed silent. I realized I had been removed, not just rejected. Every door closed at once. Every bridge burned clean. This wasn't anger. It was strategy. I lay on the mattress staring at the ceiling. They buried me alive, I whispered. No grave, no marker. Just absence. I stood and washed the blood from my hand. I won't beg, I said. I opened my laptop. All my accounts were locked. I closed it slowly. They think I'm finished, I said. I sat in the dark until dawn. I felt rage rise, then sink into something colder. They planned my end, I said softly. I'll plan my return. Outside, the city woke up without me. Inside, something hardened. I had been erased, but erasing a man doesn't mean he disappears. Sometimes it means he watches. Sometimes it means he waits. I lay back and stared at the ceiling. I'm still here, I said. The words didn't shake. They settled. I was locking the door when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Are you alone? A man asked. Yes, I said. This is Daniel. I handled the clan's accounts. My breath caught. You shouldn't be calling me, I said. I shouldn't, he replied, but you were erased, and that wasn't legal. I leaned against the wall. What do you want? To tell you the truth, he said. And to protect myself. We met that night in a parking garage. Daniel kept his hood up. They forged your signature, he said. On what? I asked. Everything, he replied. I laughed. Figures. Ryan needed a reason, Daniel said. Emma was leverage. My chest tightened. You're saying my marriage was a transaction? Yes, he said. A clean one. I whispered. She chose power. Daniel nodded. And your father approved it. Why tell me now? I asked. Because the numbers don't lie, Daniel said. They'll come for you, I said. They already did, he replied. He showed me files on his tablet. Hidden accounts, fake debts, emergency motions, he said. I stared. This was planned. For months, he said. I felt sick. If I expose this, I said, they burn everything. They burn you first, Daniel said quietly. I drove home shaking. Walk away, I told myself. Then I saw Liam's shoes in my trunk. They used my kids, I said aloud. Daniel called again. Don't rush, he warned. I want them destroyed, I said. That's how people disappear, he replied. I clenched the wheel. What do I do? Collect, he said. Silently. The words stuck. Silently. That night I opened a notebook. I wrote names, dates, amounts. I recorded calls. Saved messages. I'm not attacking, I told myself. I'm preparing, Daniel texted. They're watching. I replied, I'm learning. Fear sat beside me, so did clarity. For the first time, the pain sharpened into focus. This isn't revenge yet, I whispered. It's survival. I closed the book slowly. The truth wasn't loud, it bled. And I let it. I sat back and stared at the ceiling. They think I'll explode, I said. They want noise. Daniel called once more. Promise me something, he said. What? I asked. Don't confront them. He said. I won't, I replied. Don't warn Emma, he added. I won't, I said again. Good, he said. Because once this starts, it can't stop, I swallowed. I thought about my father's face. Ryan's silence, Emma's cold eyes. They already stopped my life, I said. Yes, Daniel replied. Now you take control of the ending. I hung up. I opened my laptop again. This time I didn't feel locked out. I felt invited. I created folders. I labeled everything. Truth, I said softly. Patience. Proof. I wasn't angry anymore. I was alert. I understood the danger and I accepted it. Revenge no longer felt like fire. It felt like structure. Like waiting. Like letting people walk deeper into their own lies. I closed my eyes and breathed. For the first time, I said, this is possible. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. I prepared. And in that quiet moment, I knew walking away would kill me slower than staying silent ever could. So I stayed. I watched. And I began. This is dangerous, I told myself. Yes, I answered back. But it's mine. I shut the screen. I sat in the dark. I waited for fear. It didn't come, only focus did. I planned without rushing. I listened more than spoke. Every detail mattered now. Every silence spoke louder. I nodded to myself once. This changes everything, I said. And I meant it completely. I stopped calling. I stopped explaining. I stopped asking anyone to understand. I told myself no more. When my phone rang, I let it ring. When messages came, I didn't open them. Silence isn't weakness, I said out loud. It's distance. I deleted old photos. I boxed memories. I said, I won't argue for a place they already erased. The begging version of me died quietly. No funeral, no apology. Just a decision. I went to see Mr. Harris after 10 years. He opened the door, looked at my face, and said, You finally learned, I asked. Learned what? He replied, That noise solves nothing. We sat. I said, They broke me. He shook his head. They revealed you. I said, I want justice. He answered, Then control yourself first. His voice was calm. It irritated me. He noticed. Anger is loud, he said. Power whispers. I trained my days into routines. Wake, work, learn, repeat. When my hands shook, I said, focus. When memories surfaced, I said, later. Mr. Harris warned me, you can't rush patience. I asked, how long? He smiled, until you stop asking. I worked jobs beneath my name. I listened more than I spoke. People underestimated me. I let them. Good, I said. Stay blind. Every small win felt earned. At night, doubt crept in. What if I lose? I asked myself. Then I answered, you already did. That truth freed me. I stopped chasing outcomes. I chased discipline. I told myself, I am not hurt. I am aware. I replayed conversations without emotion. I studied patterns. They rely on speed, I said. I'll use time. My pain cooled into something sharp and usable. Mr. Harris said, never confront when you can observe. I nodded. Never react when you can prepare, he added. I asked, and if they come for me? He replied, they will. I said, then I'll be ready. He looked pleased. You're changing. I corrected him. I'm becoming accurate. He laughed softly. That's worse for them. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. I stood in my apartment quieter now. I looked at the mirror. You're not a victim, I told myself. You're a witness. I felt steady, not happy, not angry, clear. This is the version they never planned for, I said. I turned off the light. I lay down without fear. I won't beg, I repeated. I won't rush. Somewhere inside, a strategist took his place. And he was patient. I didn't announce anything. I just spoke to people who already doubted them, one call at a time. I'm not asking you to choose, I said. Just look again. Some listened. Some didn't. I didn't push. I learned who feared my father and who feared the truth. When a partner said, why are you telling me this? I replied, because silence helped them. He went quiet. That was enough. I hung up knowing seeds don't need force. Only space. Clara met me behind a cafe at dusk. She wouldn't sit. I can't sleep, she said. Every time I see your boys, I feel sick. I asked, then why stay? She whispered, fear. I nodded. Me too. She slid documents toward me. These were hidden, I asked. Why help me? She said, because I helped hurt you. Her hand shook. I said, you don't owe me loyalty. She answered, I owe myself truth. Changes followed without announcements. A supplier called and said, we're reviewing contracts. Another emailed, there are concerns. I smiled alone. An auditor left my father a message. Ryan called me at midnight. What are you doing? He asked. I said, living. He snapped, you're spreading lies. I replied, I'm sharing records. He breathed fast. Stop, he said. I answered, you taught me silence was powerful. He hung up first. Emma posted smiles online. We're thriving, she wrote. She texted me, why are people calling Ryan? I replied, ask him. She called later. This feels unstable, she said. I asked, did you expect loyalty from thieves? She said, you're bitter. I answered, I'm precise. She paused. Are you behind this? I said, behind what? Silence stretched. She whispered, I don't like this. I ended the call calmly. I never met anyone twice in the same place. I listened more than I spoke. When someone warned me, they're watching, I said, let them. When fear rose, I told myself, restraint is victory. Clara messaged, they're fighting internally. I replied, good. Ryan sent threats. I saved them. My father demanded a meeting. I declined. Who are you now? He asked in a voice message. I said nothing. Power didn't arrive like thunder. It moved like water, slow, quiet, unavoidable. I sat alone and reviewed everything. No anger. No rush. Just alignment. I said, this is working. The city didn't notice. The clan didn't either. That was the point. Each exit happened cleanly. Each doubt spread naturally. I didn't celebrate. I adjusted. I checked time, not emotion. I told myself, quiet doesn't mean weak. I watched them lose balance while standing still. For the first time, I wasn't chasing justice. I was shaping consequences. I closed my notebook and said, this won't stop. Not yet. Not until the truth finishes walking through every room they built on lies. I felt control settle into my breathing. I said, "Stay invisible." Phones rang elsewhere. Doors closed quietly. I didn't smile. I noted reactions. I marked names. I erased traces. I understood then that power isn't loud victory, it's quiet direction, and tonight, direction belonged to me. I leaned back and whispered, "This is how it changes. No witnesses. No apologies, only momentum." I chose patience again. I chose precision again. The shift had begun, and no one could point to the moment it happened. I stayed unseen, and that was the victory. I promised myself I would not rush the end. It would come on my terms, and they would never see it coming. That certainty steadied me. I breathed once and closed my eyes. The night stayed quiet. Exactly as planned, always. I heard it through whispers before calls started coming. "They're arguing," someone said. "Your father is yelling at everyone." I said nothing. Another voice said, "Meetings keep ending early." I asked, "Why tell me?" He replied, "Because no one trusts anyone now." I hung up and sat still. I didn't feel joy. I felt movement. The clan sounded like a room with too many locked doors. I told myself, don't interfere. Watching was part of the cost. Silence felt safer than action, and patience kept my hands clean while their hands turned against each other inside slowly. Margaret called me at night. "I tried," she whispered. "I warned them," I said. "You chose silence." She cried. "Your father wouldn't listen," I asked. "Did Emma know?" She paused too long. "She knew enough," Margaret said. My chest tightened. "Why now?" I asked. "Because everything is breaking," she replied. "And I can't carry it anymore." I closed my eyes. "The truth doesn't heal," I said. "It only arrives." I didn't comfort her. I listened, because comfort would have been another lie. Regret finally spoke, and it sounded weaker than fear ever did to me then there. Ryan stopped calling confidently. His messages came late and short. "Fix this," he wrote. I replied, "Fix yourself." He sent another text. "You're enjoying this," I typed. "No." He called anyway. "You're tearing us apart," he said. I answered, "You did that." His voice cracked. "Dad is losing control." I said, "He taught you control was ownership." Ryan went quiet. That silence told me more than threats ever could. I felt no triumph, only confirmation that pressure reveals fractures people pretend are loyalty. His fear echoed louder than anger, and it stayed with me that night alone. Emma finally reached out without smiling words. "Things feel unstable," she said. I replied, "That's honesty." She snapped, "You planned this." I said, "You planned me out." She breathed hard. "Ryan is panicking." I answered, "You chose panic." She said, "I chose security." I asked, "Is it still secure?" She didn't answer. I waited. She whispered, "I didn't think it would collapse." I said, "Empires built on betrayal always do." Her silence weighed heavier than insults, and I felt grief press against satisfaction inside me. I missed my children most in that moment without showing it once. I sat alone afterward, asking myself a question I avoided. Is this justice? I answered, "It's consequence." Another voice said, "They will suffer." I replied, "So did I." I thought about mercy. It felt clan, almost tempting. I thought about Liam and Noah. What lesson do they learn? I asked. The room didn't answer. I told myself, stopping now protects no one. Still, doubt walked beside me, quiet and persistent. Justice demanded truth. Mercy demanded forgetting. And I couldn't forget without betraying myself again. The choice stayed unresolved, waiting for the next move from any of us. I didn't push harder. I stepped back. The clan argued publicly now. Deals froze. Voices leaked. I stayed invisible. Margaret texted, "Be careful." I replied, "I am." Clara sent one line, "They're tearing themselves apart." I wrote back, "Let them." I closed my phone and breathed. Satisfaction tried to rise. Pain followed it. I accepted both. This is the cost, I said. Justice moved forward. Mercy waited behind me. I knew whichever path I chose next would define what kind of father my sons would remember. That thought kept my hands and my voice calm. I met Emma in a quiet cafe she chose because no one would recognize us. She sat stiff, hands tight around her cup. "You look calm," she said. "I am," I replied. She swallowed and spoke quickly. "I made a choice," she said. "It was about stability." "For the boys," she added. I nodded once. "Calculated," I said. Her eyes widened. You knew, I continued. You chose power over me. She whispered, I was scared. I said, fear explains, it doesn't forgive. She reached for my hand. I moved it away. Please, she said, we can fix this. I shook my head. There is nothing to fix, I said. You didn't break us. You sold us. Her voice trembled. Ryan is losing everything. I answered, so am I every day. She leaned back, afraid now. You planned this, she said. I replied, no, you planned me out, I added. She stared at me. Do you hate me? She asked. I paused. I don't feel anything for you, I said. That was the moment she broke. Tears came uncontrolled. Please forgive me, she said. I stood. I won't punish you, I said. I also won't save you. I walked away without anger. Behind me she whispered my name. I didn't turn outside. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. I breathed steady. I told myself calm is strength. I left knowing fear had brought her here, not love. This was not revenge. This was distance. And distance was final. She stood suddenly, chair scraping. Wait, she said. I can make things right. I faced her. Right for who? I asked. For you, she said quickly. For the boys, she added again. I said, you keep using them. They are not shields. She cried harder. I was protecting them, she said. I answered. You were protecting status. Silence spread between us. The cafe noise returned slowly. Emma wiped her face. Say something, she begged. I said, I already did. She asked, is there no chance? I replied, not for us. She nodded, defeated. You changed, she said. I said, you forced it. She stood there shaking. I paid the bill. Take care of the boys, I said. She whispered, I will try. I answered, trying is not enough. I walked past her. Outside, rain started lightly. I didn't hurry. My phone rang again. I turned it off. I felt taller. Not proud, just finished. I said quietly, this chapter is closed. I walked into the street. Cars passed without noticing. I welcome that, I said. Goodbye, Emma, once. She didn't hear. I kept walking. I thought of Liam and Noah as I walked. I promised myself restraint, no cruelty, no forgiveness. Only boundaries, I said. They deserve calm. I said, they deserve truth. I said, they deserve a father who stands. I checked my breathing, even, controlled, clear. I knew Emma would feel this silence later, not tonight. Later, when fear faded. I wouldn't be there. That was mercy. I kept walking. The city swallowed me. I felt free without celebration. Calm settled again. I said, this is enough. I went home alone. I slept without dreams. Morning would come. Work would continue. The end would wait. I accepted that. I locked the door. I stood still. I whispered, no more. I turned off the light. Silence stayed. So did resolve. I closed my eyes. Tomorrow could wait. I had chosen myself. That was final. I rested. Peace arrived quietly. I let it stay for good. I met Ryan in his office after midnight. He locked the door and said, you've gone too far. I sat without asking. You're damaging the family, he said. I replied, you damaged it first. He leaned close. I can ruin you, he whispered. I smiled once. You already tried? His confidence felt rehearsed. Mine wasn't. I said, you're late. He frowned. Late for what? I answered. The truth. My hands stayed still, and that silence made him nervous in ways threats never could. I watched his eyes search for control. He pulled out his phone and said, I have leverage. I said, so do I. His jaw tightened. You think documents scare me? He asked. I replied, they terrify liars. I listed dates, accounts, signatures. Slowly. His face drained. Who told you? He asked. I said, everyone you underestimated. He slammed the desk. Stop, I leaned back. You don't get commands anymore. His voice cracked when he said my name. I watched sweat form as his certainty collapsed, piece by piece, without me raising my voice once. He swallowed hard and looked away, finally, ashamed. Listen, he said quietly, we can fix this. I shook my head. You can't fix what you built on betrayal. He stepped closer. Dad is sick, he said. The clan needs stability. I answered, you needed permission. His shoulders dropped. I never wanted this, he said. I replied, You wanted the benefits. He rubbed his face. I'm losing everything. I said, now you understand timing. He whispered, please. That word sounded foreign coming from him. Smaller than any threat he ever used. I felt no anger, only distance, cold and complete, between us both, now. He dropped into his chair. What do you want? He asked. I said, nothing from you. He laughed weakly. Then stop. I replied, I already did. He stared. You hate me. I said, no. That confused him. I pity you, I added. His eyes filled. Say something else, he begged. I stood. This is the consequence. He whispered, I'm your brother. I looked at him and felt nothing familiar left between us anymore. Blood didn't bind us now. Truth separated us cleanly and permanently. He saw it and finally understood loss. Without any mercy, left. I walked toward the door. He followed. Don't destroy me, he said. I stopped. You destroyed yourself, I replied. He grabbed my sleeve. We're family. I removed his hand. Family doesn't trade children, I said. He collapsed against the wall. I can't breathe, he said. I answered, neither could I. His voice broke. Tell them to stop. I said, I never started this. That was the truth, and it crushed him harder than any threat. I felt no victory, only closure settling where anger once lived. His world shrank in front of me. Completely now, I left without another word. In the hallway I felt lighter, not proud, just finished. This is over, I told myself. Ryan stayed behind, smaller than memory, louder in silence. I didn't hate him anymore. Hate requires energy. Pity requires nothing. I stepped outside and breathed. Power had changed hands without shouting. I chose calm over cruelty. That choice felt final. I walked away knowing the shift was complete, and I never looked back again. The chapter closed, sealed by truth, consequence, and silence. Nothing followed me forward. Anymore now. I didn't hear the news from television. I heard it from my phone vibrating nonstop. They filed, Clara said. Filed what? I asked. Everything, she replied. Audits, charges, resignations. I closed my eyes. So it started. She whispered. It collapsed. By noon, reporters stood outside the gates. My father called once. This is your doing, he said. I answered, it's your math. He shouted, you betrayed us. I replied, you erased me. Silence followed. Then he said, I'm stepping down. I said nothing. The line went dead. Ryan texted in panic. They froze accounts. I replied, they found records. He called. Fix this, he begged. I said, you can't undo truth, he screamed. They're blaming me. I answered, you wanted credit. He cried. I ended the call. Emma messaged later. The house is being seized. I typed. I warned you. She called. The clan is finished, she said. I replied, it finished itself. She whispered, your father resigned publicly. I said, he taught us image mattered. She asked, are you satisfied? I answered, I'm clear. That evening, my mother came to my door. He's broken, she said. I asked, were we not? She said, you destroyed him. I replied, he destroyed everyone. She cried. Say something kind, she begged. I said, kindness came before lies. She left quietly. The next morning, headlines named names. Deals vanished. Lies denied knowing them. I watched without celebration. This is justice, I told myself. Another voice asked, or revenge. I answered, it's consequence. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This is the board, a man said. We accept responsibility, I replied. Good, Clara called again, voice shaking. They're blaming accounting, she said. I replied, they always do. She asked, should I testify? I said, only tell what you know. She whispered, they're offering me protection. I answered, take it. She paused. Are you scared? I said, I was. She asked, and now? I replied, now I'm responsible. She breathed out. This is bigger than us, I said. It always was. She hung up. I sat still. The building felt hollow. My phone rang again. A reporter asked, any comment? I said, no. He pressed, do you feel vindicated? I replied, I feel done. He waited. I ended the call. Outside, sirens passed. I counted breaths. 1, 2, 3. I told myself, stay clean. I didn't cheer. I didn't mourn. I acknowledged reality. The clan was dissolving piece by piece. I didn't guide it. I witnessed it. That difference mattered. I whispered, this is enough. I leaned back. I waited for guilt. It didn't come. Only quiet certainty. I closed my eyes. The noise outside faded. I remained present. No anger. No joy. Just truth. It sat heavy and honest. I accepted it. The fall continued without me. I stayed still. I stayed separate. I stayed awake. The end kept moving. Forward. Always. My father sent one final message. I built everything. I wrote back, you built fear. He replied, I protected the clan. I answered, you protected control. No reply came. That was his resignation, final and complete. I stood by the window as rain fell. The empire that erased me was gone. No cheers, no closure speech, just absence. It's over, I said aloud. My reflection looked calm, not victorious. Finished. I turned off my phone. I breathed deeply. The clan crumbled because truth doesn't need anger to win. Lies collapse under their own weight. I didn't push the final stone. I stepped aside and let gravity do its work. I whispered, this chapter ends. And for the first time, the silence answered back. I sat outside the courtroom while my lawyer said, breathe. I said, I am. My hand still shook. The door opened. You can come in, she said. I stood slowly. Inside, the judge looked tired. We've reviewed everything, she said. I nodded. You will have full custody, she added. I didn't speak. My lawyer whispered, you did it. I answered, no. My voice broke. I survived. Outside, my phone rang. It's done, I told Margaret. She cried. Bring them home, she said. I replied, I will. Emma didn't call. She sent a message, take care of them. I typed, I always have. I didn't add more. Some conversations end without closure. That was one of them. I waited in the parking lot when the car arrived. Liam stepped out first. He froze. Daddy? He said. I knelt. I'm here, I said. Noah ran into my arms. You're not leaving again, he said. I answered, never. Liam touched my face. You look different, he said. I smiled softly. I'm calmer, I replied. Emma stood back. She didn't approach. I didn't ask her to. Boundaries mattered now. On the drive home, Liam asked, are we safe? I said, yes. Noah asked, will we move again? I replied, no. They watched the road quietly. At a red light, Liam said, Uncle Ryan cried. I said nothing. Noah asked, is Grandpa mad? I answered, adults make mistakes. Liam frowned. Did you? I said, yes. He nodded. You fixed them, he said. I corrected him. I learned from them. At home, Noah ran through every room. This is ours? He asked. It is, I said. Liam unpacked slowly. I like it here, he said. I replied, me too. We ate dinner on the floor. Noah laughed. No big table, he said. I laughed with him. We don't need one, I replied. Liam said, you're not angry. I answered, I don't need to be. That night, Liam asked, did you beat them? I shook my head. No, I said. I chose you. Noah yawned. That's better, he said. I tucked them in. Liam whispered, promise me something. I said, what? He said, don't disappear. I answered, I promise stability. He smiled and closed his eyes. I sat alone afterward. I didn't feel victory. I felt responsibility. My phone buzzed. Clara wrote, I'm glad, I replied. So am I. Mr. Harris texted, this is the work. I wrote back, I understand. I looked at the hallway. Quiet felt earned now. I said aloud, no revenge. The words stayed. I said, no bitterness. That stayed too. Before sleeping, Noah woke up. Daddy? He said. Yes? I asked. You're here, he said. I smiled. Always. He rolled over. I stood there longer than needed. I watched them breathe. I felt something heal slowly. Not everything. Enough. I turned off the light. Tomorrow, I whispered, we build. The house didn't answer. It didn't need to. Stability isn't loud. It's consistent. I lay down knowing this chapter wasn't about winning. It was about staying, and this time I would. I woke before the boys and sat at the kitchen table with a cold cup of coffee. Liam walked in rubbing his eyes. You're up early, he said. So are you, I replied. He smiled. Bad dream? He asked. I shook my head. Old thoughts, I said. He nodded like he understood more than I expected. They don't get you anymore, he said. I answered, no, they don't. Later that day, Mr. Harris called. You're quiet, he said. I replied, I'm finished. He paused. Finished how? I said, I stopped fighting ghosts. He laughed softly. That's survival, he said. Not victory, I agreed. I didn't win, I said. I lived. He said, that's harder. I thanked him and hung up without needing more advice. I walked through the park with Noah. He asked, Are we rich now? I smiled. No, I said. He grinned. Good, he replied. I like normal. I stopped walking. Me too, I said. We sat on a bench. Noah kicked his feet. Will they come back? He asked. I said, no. He nodded once. Okay. Children accept truth faster than adults. I admired that. That evening, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is your father, the message read. I stared at it. Liam watched me. You don't have to answer, he said. I smiled. I know. I put the phone face down. Silence returned. I felt no anger, no triumph. Just clarity. Some doors stay closed, I whispered. Liam nodded. That's fine, he said. It was. At night, I stood by the window. The city lights looked ordinary again. I remembered nights filled with rage, plans, calculations. I said to myself, truth did the work. I didn't need to explain myself anymore. I didn't need witnesses. Betrayal no longer defined me. It informed me that difference mattered. I felt lighter without celebrating it. Emma never called again. Ryan disappeared from my thoughts. The clan became a story people told in past tense. I didn't correct them. I didn't add details. Let it fade, I said. Liam asked one last question before bed. Are we safe forever? I said, we're safe today. He smiled. That's enough. He was right. I lay in bed listening to the house settle. I remembered the man who begged, who doubted, who broke. I thanked him silently. He carried me here. I said aloud, I forgive myself. The words stayed. I didn't forgive them. I didn't need to. Forgiveness wasn't required for freedom. Understanding was. I had that now. Before sleeping, Noah whispered, Daddy? I said, yes. He said, you're strong, I replied. So are you. He fell asleep smiling. I closed my eyes. Tomorrow would come without enemies, without plans, without fear. I didn't win a war. I ended one. I survived it. And survival, I learned, is the quietest form of strength there is.